Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your monthly peace report, Cancer Season 2023. This is the Peace Dealer. Let's welcome Frequency Matter X to God Squad. Congratulations for upgrading. The Cosmic Energy tune-up that we did yesterday is available for replay for God Squad and Infinity Club members. Okay, shout out to all of y'all in the live chat watching me live. Ooh, y'all are most definitely in for a very powerful Cancer season, and I dare say an even more powerful summer, really. And there's so much to talk about that this is most definitely going to be interesting to see how to put this all together, especially taking this into account. I want you to just look at the opposition. My bad, I didn't realize I was muted. So, yeah, as you can see, we are on the road to this very, very, very iconic T square. Once again, 29 Pluto, 29 Cancer Sun, 29 North Node Aries. And I want you to also see the moon opposition to Neptune as well. The purpose of this is everything that I'm saying for this Cancer transit. Really, really keep in mind that this is what everything is leading up to. Because it's not a coincidence that once we step into the Leo season transit, we're going to really kick off this North Nodal Aries. This cardinal shift is the equivalent of pushing you into your destiny. All right. And because it's kicking off with this 270-degree North Nodal angle, or you could say it's actually a 90-degree angle, but because the North Node is 10th house to the Cancer Sun, this is not only pushing you into your destiny, but it's pushing the individual actions of your character towards what legacy and success you're meant to achieve, moving in the direction that's authentic to you. This isn't going to be really difficult for Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer to do. This might be difficult for socials and collectives because what the purpose of this transit really is over the next year and a half while Saturn is finishing out of Pisces is to test your beliefs relative to how much external bullshit you still believe. Like a lot of people still don't get it. A lot of people are still figuring it out. They're still comparing themselves to, situations outside of themselves. They're still giving in to social expectations, outdated traditions borrowed from other cultures that like as old as like 2 or 3 centuries ago. and wondering why, like, they don't have fulfillment in their life or whatever, or looking at things from the outside looking in. And, you know, this is a deliberate decision that they're choosing. It's easy to look at that and to see like, oh, they just need to be woke or awakened. But no, everything that occurs is based on our continuous decision making. And of course, we have lessons to learn, but just keep that in mind. This disillusionment of what you know you're meant to pioneer and move towards versus you being called out of this world that is glorifying and really ending. You're literally watching this end. Yep, you know it. And this is literally preparing you to step onto this path of self-discovery and self-healing. So when we enter Leo, you have activated your individuality, your raw identity, your value, and your thoughts. Now you're integrating how to feel about yourself moving forward. A lot of people are manipulated by low self-esteem. So given the reinforcement of people's philosophies and beliefs, using history to, through confirmation bias, kind of basically confirm their prejudices, their biases, none of that has to do with any of you. And that has been a major disillusionment for Aries to Gemini. The reason why I have to be mindful about this is 2023 is the, like, from 2011 to 2022 was the last arc. This is the next 12 to 30 year arc. And it starts at 2023. A large part of this is Jupiter's ingress out of Aries into Taurus, or coming into Aries in the beginning of the year, and Pluto going into Aquarius, and the North Node going into Aries. So that's why this year is where we're coming into a lot of lessons we learned the past few years, but we're moving forward with it. We're no longer having to learn the same lessons. Some of you can if you want, but that train is moving. All right, that fate train or destiny train. So Aries, Taurus, and Gemini of 2023, April to about the end of May of 2023. Okay, that was the activation of the evolution of you awakening during a period where the world is ending. I don't know how else to say this because it's not just local to this solar system. Everything in its connectivity is just using your experience to give you an idea of what's happening elsewhere in their own unique ways. However, okay, given this activation of the next level of you, the next level of you that over the next 12 to 30 years you will be completing, all right, and reinitiating. Aries, Taurus, and Gemini began the disillusionment process that has been reinforced on you and conditioned since you were a baby sucking on your mother's tits or drinking milk. And I know that sounds like a joke, but this is very serious. Cancer, Leo, and Virgo season over the next 3 months are completing this disillusionment process. The Sun opposite Saturn and Neptune is the completion of this disillusionment process. Last year, when Jupiter was in Pisces, I have to maintain this. I will keep the same energy. No one else is saying and that's why I make sure to bring these points out. You won't hear a single other astrologer, psychic, whatever, saying this. In their own way, they may have, but I have to establish this. Your perception from how society sees you has quintessentially shifted. It is not uncommon every year for your society to change the way they see you because we grow every year. It is, however, not common at all for the entire power balance to shift. So, in other words, society can change the way they see you, but still maintain the existing status quo. Oh, I don't like what they do, but okay, they seem to be accurate, but still I don't like what they do. That's not what happened last year. Last year, the entire status quo shifted because of you. So it's not like It's not like the status quo shifted and now people are able to accept you. You shifted the status quo due to the longevity and the completion of this cycle. So the way society views you, not just a group of people, cultures, groups, the way they think and categorize you has completely changed just due to the fact that in one of many cases, a lot of the predictions that they had about their ideas of you never came to pass. It was a disillusionment process, the opposition to Pisces. That happened Virgo season. Libra season, based on this change of perception, now completely shifted the power balance. So now that the power balance, a generational power balance, meaning, and this is not surprising, the last time something major like this happened was when Pluto was in the same place that it was last year at the end of Capricorn. Major status quo shifting from massive amounts of people sparking revolutions. That wasn't the last time it happened, but that's the last major. So just for reference, it's not even really that surprising, right? And I have to reference it like this. The North Node in Aries is squaring Pluto in Capricorn. This is the major shift that is uplifting humanity out of social expectations that people have adopted for decades in favor of individuals who are going to create what in 10 years, like everything that's happening over the next 2 years, in 10 years, that's what everyone does now. And if you are so caught up in false collective narratives and comparing yourself to other people, this is going to pass you by. Once this goes into Pisces, you're anchoring this self-belief. So if you spend the next 2 years doubting yourself, comparing yourself to other people, doing what other people want, and North Node goes into Pisces, that's how you will forever be remembered. A clout-chasing bitch who was afraid to believe in yourself. Versus if you ride this North Node Aries wave and challenge yourself. The North Node is a challenge. None of that shit is easy. With Chiron constantly confronting your vulnerabilities to do you and not compare to anyone else before you make a decision to do you. Okay, what will this person think about it? What would the fuck all that shit? It's disgusting. You're not a child. Children do that dumb shit. And so the proliferation of adults doing this is proof that weak men create hard times. But that's cool because hard times create strong men. So basically, the Libra season of 2022 shifted the power balance. A lot of and don't take my word for it, literally research this. 2022 was a major breakthrough point where a lot of shit that was not popular 10, 20 years ago was ridiculed 10, 20 years ago. And I'm talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Look at everything good, bad, and ugly that was not accepted, that is super accepted now. It's almost like reverse. That's the shift of the power balance. And you have your own unique way in which you also incorporated that and experienced that. Examples in social culture, the trans community, LGBTQ, body shaming, astrology, psychic arts, gaming. Okay. Like for example, gamers were not necessarily as in demand as they are now. People weren't going out of their way to pretend like they're into spirituality. That's not new. You have decades of examples of this, but it was never taken seriously or was marketable like it is now. And this is just the beginning of a different precedent. And yeah, shaming in general, right? So like the South Node that's coming into Libra is now aligning this power balance and shift. That's why the last couple of years, there has been massive psychic attack. Because imagine living your whole life being conditioned to believe that you're supposed to be the best in society. You're supposed to be the top person. You're supposed to have the know-how. And now you're realizing reality is showing you that was never true. That was an opinion created by a biased collective. You've been fed lies your whole life. And now you're constantly in denial, watching the people who you look down on overcome and surpass you in ways that are not traditional to what you are told success is supposed to look like. Saturn has been testing those beliefs. This is very important because 2022, that changed the perception of the status quo, is now being replaced with 2023 that's moving you into that direction. So the fight last year that you felt psychically was this perpetual fight to reinforce old visions of yourself. You maintaining and actually experiencing the shift of perception, and people in denial trying to project and fight that they failed. Now you're moving forward to maintain that, and now they're fighting you to not move us forward. This fight is evidenced by the resistance and willingness to undermine your authentic self. It's not a physical fight, okay? That's what makes it a spiritual fight, your spirit, okay? And the fact that you're struggling through this is the victory, because yeah, it doesn't feel good to fight, just like it doesn't feel good to be a seed breaking through the plant or the dirt, but you make it through into the light, okay? Because they are WLBs. And, you know, imagine putting this persona up that you're not a weak little bitch, and then you get exposed for being a stupid little bitch. That's going to hurt a lot of egos, and you have been a lot of it's been taken out on you. These principalities been taking it out on you with these mind wars. So why is Cancer season so very important? I have to once again emphasize, relative to 2022, which shifted the perspective, 2023 is a major year for disillusionment. Saturn over the next 2 years is reinstituting the veil on consciousness. Okay. Last time this happened was around the 1800s. Really study that period. The 80s, I think, when Neptune was in Pisces. Really study that Saturn cycle. I'm not going to say something similar to having now, but if you think that Saturn is the reaper and Neptune is the veil and Pisces is dreams, okay, then Saturn that's going through Neptune is disillusioning the collective illusion that was reinforced post 2012. And as it goes into Aries, the fog is going to completely dissipate, and people are going to be hungry for authenticity. They're going to see through this fake influencer dream lifestyle bullshit, and people are going to recognize we need original content again. The last time Saturn was in Pisces, something similar had occurred, where you were dealing with this element of the same cartoons being played over and over, the same old ass cartoons, and the cartoon industry was in a pinch. And then Saturn went into Aries in the 90s, and you had some of the most new iconic cartoons come through, like Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, Raw. Uranus and Neptune were in Aquarius, so they were weird as fuck too. Okay, we're coming into another renaissance. I think the greatest renaissance of our period is amongst us during a period where people are going to have to fight just for their right to be themselves. So the music will at least be authentic as well too. Not this uninspired shit where everyone is just like doesn't even know what to do because they're just completely illusioned. So we are in a very important period where there is massive disillusionment happening over the next couple of years, the end of the world, right? The revelations that will remove the scales from people's eyes. This disillusion process with 2023, I see you, Kitty, and Saturn and Pisces is key. This is what's making this stick. Aries, Taurus, and Gemini was the first wave of this disillusionment in the past 3 months. Where you started, you'll know that you experienced this because and this is Chiron and Aries here, every single trigger that hurt your ego or pride, or you confronted every single facet of how the collective, because Aries, Taurus, and Gemini are opposite the social collective. So the triggers with which these social expectations used to hurt your integrity, it's like you're disillusioned. It's like, wait, this never hurt me. I was literally reacting to it because I forgot who I was. And it's not in a way where you're faking it and you're clearly hurt by something, but you're like, it doesn't hurt me. It's literally like disillusioning yourself from a habit. And coming out of Gemini season, you have completed that karma. Wow. What coincided with that? Pluto came out of Capricorn. Okay. It built the inner strength. And this was done not by arguing or fighting with people, just by being yourself, just by witnessing how the power of your own authenticity triggers those who are bathing in insecurity. We have to once again responsibly accept that you have evolved to the next level and you are now a part of a 6 to 12 year evolution cycle. In 3 months from now, we're going to complete with the sun opposite Jupiter, the first cycle of evolution, the first wave of this new cycle. All right. So you have the conjunction with Sun in Aries, and then the opposition with Sun, Scorpio, Jupiter, Taurus. That's the first harvest. Then the complete evolution is Jupiter and Libra from when it went into Aries. And in between, you have a series of completions. So that's just the range of levels to this and layers. The reason why I have to say this is one thing I noticed in people, and it's a common mistake, but when astrologers say dates, right? And some astrologers perpetuate this misunderstanding too. So it is what it is. I may have done so myself. If I were to say this is going to happen at this date, it's very easy for you guys to think, oh, okay, so this aspect is happening in 6 days. That's when things are going to happen. The date is just a reference for the cycle. Okay. Given the way society has conditioned you because you are a slave to the time clock that they put you under, you've been conditioned to believe this has to happen at that time. This has to happen at that time. This has to happen at this time. If this doesn't happen by this age, you're that. This is the inability for the system, or the deliberate inability for the system to acknowledge you as unique. So you are put in a box, you are organized and put in a class structure and hierarchy, which on paper makes sense, but real life is not paper. Now this has a whole bunch of people comparing themselves with each other because they forgot who the fuck they are. And no one can blame anyone for that because it's your responsibility to live your life. This is why evil demons and evil forces can get away with the way they finesse people, because they get you to give your power away. No one can force you to give your power away. That's why these dark forces hate you. Hate you. That's why you are attacked daily. This is a war. I'm sorry, I'm not here to sugarcoat things. You don't want that to depress you. This is what we signed up for. We ain't no cowards. Cool. So the next 3 months are completing this disillusion process. After we come into Libra season, we are now applying the completion of this disillusion process in the social signs, where you will be saying, I told you so, to a lot of people coming into Sagittarius with just your actions, because now you have completed the shifting of this power balance. You're going to see things you've never thought you would ever see in your lifetime, and not you looking at it, you being it. All right. And you don't have to take my word, because this Cancer season alone is this actual shift into that. So before I even talk about Cancer season, I wanted to make sure we got that out the way, because there's so many layers and nuances to this that if you're not aware, this will just be right under your nose. Okay. In a nutshell, Cancer season is activating evolved psychic powers so that you can use them to fight evil demons. But like, if I say that, that's just going to sound so stupid. So let me really break this down. When I say you're evolving psychic powers and activating it, I really do mean the last 10 years was preparing you for the next set of conflicts you're going to go through, especially as soon as we kick off this T square. If you're not necessarily aware or acknowledge the unseen nature of how fate and destiny ties together certain things, especially given quantum entanglement and how nothing is truly separated, well, it's all going to be disillusioned over the next 2 years. Okay. And another reason why a lot of this opens up the nature of this deeper understanding of yourself is so that through Pluto and Aquarius, as the world is literally ending and humanity is transforming its consciousness of itself sociologically, you through this individual mission will make your way to who you truly belong with. All right. Cool beans. So I really want, no, it's just a cat. It's a cat that is in there. My friend's cat. She a Cancer cat too. Cancer, y'all eyes are like, wow. So, okay. Before we once again really go in through the transits, I want to talk about North Node and Aries, because once we step into North Node in Leo, I need you to really get an idea of how exciting this is. The sun going into Leo and conjuncting Venus is great for a golden glow up, right? The whole purpose of integration is we've activated our sense of who we are, our sense of our worth, and our sense of what we think. Now we're getting ready to take that and integrate it with other people. That's it. That's basically it. Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Leo and Virgo are social. They go outside. So Cancer is understanding what you've activated, how you feel about it. And then Leo is the courage to express that to other people. Talents, children, expression. Virgo is the mastery of this expression through hygiene, habits, behavior, and all that finicky shit. Okay, cool. By the time we step into the axis of mastery, we bridge this into Libra, and this is where we start to break through into Sagittarius of Ascension after transformation of Scorpio, taking our value in Taurus and trusting others in Scorpio, taking our ideas in Gemini and demonstrating it to the world in Sag. Then we come into the completion, the last 3 zodiac signs, rinse, repeat. Things are going to really heat up 2024 and 2025. But what 2023 should represent to you is we are shifting train track gears. We are coming out of one existence and moving into the other. And I don't mean in a sense where we're jumping across portals. That is not relatively uncommon at all. It's normal within a year to jump through many portals. But this is entirely different from leaving one existence, culture, and world tradition. And now 2023 represents moving into the direction as a collective we were all meant to move in. Historic, life-changing periods. And with AI, countries starting to redefine their gang connections, because all countries are glorified gangs, as well as a proliferation of a lot of people waking up. It's a recipe for revolution. Nothing new. We've seen it in the 1700s. But they didn't have the technology that we have now, which connects all of us together within moments. Everything is set for what has been prophesied for years. So by the time we get into Leo season and you are now expressing the courage of who you are, this is important because now Jupiter's in Taurus. Chiron is in Aries. And with the quincunx that Leo makes to Pisces, the nature of your expression socially will not be like it has been the past 10 years. Jupiter was not in Taurus the last time the sun was in Aries. So this is putting you in a position to experience over the next 3 months more power relative to everything you're good at doing, more confidence, more swag, more completion. It's going to feel like, wow, I've leveled up. That's the completion of this disillusionment. The last 3 months was, wow, all this stuff that I've been projecting on or feeling or was insecure about, it was a lie. Why? Because you've leveled up beyond that. Now you are completing that by further breaking through and letting whoever needs to know that they could never ever have anything on you. It was an illusion from inception. Cool. By the time we come to the end of Leo, the reason why that's important is not if it was just Leo, we're going to step into greater confidence. But that confidence is connecting with what? It's going to trine at the end of Leo, North Node in Aries. It's immediately going to connect you with what you're meant to do individually. So literally in less than like 60 days from now, you're going to be making social connections that you're destined to lead individually. If this was North Node Libra, you'd be making social connections. You're meant to cooperate with others. But you're the one who's going to be inspiring those who are watching your actions and vice versa. That means this Cancer season is where everything begins to shift considerably. The seeds that you planted, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, are going to break through the ground, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. You have a lot of miserable, passive-aggressive people. They can't manipulate you. And because they're weak little bitches, the best that they can do is shame and guilt manipulate you to get you to change your ways. But you're not a weak little bitch. And so this just reveals the nature of the character within these people. And we're talking about entire cultures of people who have forsaken themselves and they don't have any integrity. And they're not even aware of how they snitch on themselves on a daily basis. So this is why you, who does not practice spiritual bypassing and calls out your own shadow and actually walks in integrity and being authentic, trigger all of these fake ass people who are so inundated in their fakeness, they don't even know the lie they live. So they're worrying about the speck in other people's eyes and not the logs in their own. This is what is being disillusioned at a world level. People are just barely figuring out things that you have been understanding for years. And it's not even a woke battle. That's not even a flex. We're not saying it to be like we got it first. It's an observable fact. And it's relevant enough to mention because this is the challenge on your path. It's nothing to blame other people about. The fault may be yours if you're expecting anything more, because you have to believe who people show you they are the first time. None of this, by the way, is bad. This is all good. This is all just a symptom of what's to come. We've already started the tribulation period and we finished the beta test. So this is preparing you to step into, for the rest of the year, the real deal. And that's why I call this the return of the final boss, because the major nature of this is this Pluto opposition in T-square, which, if you are not aware, is going to induce world war and civil war. You may not realize you're getting prepared for war. This is why a lot of people are going to get got. I'm not going to say like millions of people are going to die instantly. These things happen over a period of years and decades. Like the French Revolution did not happen in just 1 year, but you're going to need super psychic powers to maneuver through. You're going to need to be able to connect with metaphysical entities aligned with you so that you have eyes and ears outside of this physical reality. There are a bunch of people on this planet who think that is science fiction and fantasy, and they're going to die. Let me be honest with you. And I don't mean this in a, they're not woke, they're not going to make it. It's a deliberate decision. That's what they wanted. It's not for me to say they weren't woke or enough. It's not a bad or a good thing. This is going to reveal the people who understand this as an actual lifestyle versus a trend or a fad. So I want to make sure I'm not saying that because I want that to happen. When you are caught in between guns blaring at you and anarchy in replacement of government authority that is temporarily defunct, if you don't have that connection, you're going to be like everyone else running around with their head cut off. Versus you being so aligned in your life, you already know you got spiritual intelligence. You gonna make it through. You're destined to make it through. You're here to create the new world, especially if you have Pluto Sag. Like y'all literally got karma to create the new world. So the good news is that's exactly what you're gonna do. That's exactly what you're doing. You are activating super psychic power. In fact, this self-discovery and awareness, as we can see today, sextile Jupiter is not only meant to level up your ability to harness these forces, but over the next 2 years to master them. By the time Saturn comes into Aries and begins the New World Order, the North Node will have finished out of Aries. And so the individual path is being paved for you to go into Pisces and establish this new collective. Once again, this power cannot be taken from you. So evil demonic forces within people are being projected towards you to try and undermine your self-esteem, to try and undermine your confidence in yourself. We're in the disillusion process, so there's no arguing. If I'm insecure that I'm trying to manipulate you and shame you because you're a loser, you believe in this, you believe in that, what's wrong with you? What does that do? I can say that till I'm blue in the face. Psychologically, the only reason why I'm talking to you like that is because I want to induce shame so that you feel a certain way to do what I want you to do. And this is where you're revealing how stupid and weak most people are, because most people are children at heart. They put on this mask of being accomplished and this, but you can see who they truly are when you don't do what they want, when you disagree with them. Those are people who are going to die quick. Like, don't waste your time arguing with people. Why can't people have different views and ideas? It's because they don't see you as a person. They see you as an image that's a part of their world. These are childish secret agents. And I don't mean to say this to antagonize them. This is just observations, but be very mindful of these uncharacteristic representations of people's inability to accept reality. That has nothing to do with you. You're watching them glitch because your very authenticity is exposing them. We know this is true because if they were not threatened by you, they would not have any insecurity to project on you. They would not be trying to undermine or feel whatever. Nothing real could be threatened. That's why it's one-sided. And they're getting at you. You're not minding their business. That's a victory. The disillusionment is realizing that all they can do is try to make your victory look not as important and to take everything they should be ashamed about and now glorify it. That shit don't work. That was just a stopgap measure. All of these groups and environments that were built off of false pretense and no stability, you're watching them crumble. Saturn doesn't play that shit. You're watching all them crumble like we knew they would. So like the completion of this disillusionment process is realizing that nothing real can be threatened and that it was never a competition or contest the entire time. You've been aligned and just winning. Don't take my word for it. Cool. The activation of this as often as you need to as often as you need to and want to. Great question. The activation of this super psychic ability through Cancer season is fleshing out the special nature of your energy signature and the uniqueness of how you feel. The ability to integrate what only you can do. And it has been a synchronicity ride, to say the least. But before we get into the beginning of this Cancer season transit, listen to me. This is not a fucking joke. I want to show you this again. North Node is coming out of Taurus. Pluto is back in a Capricorn. Everything was really abated. It's like this, there's no luxury of doubting yourself. All of the childishness and childlike imposter syndrome and just getting in your own way can and will get you killed. You are activating these abilities because the window of error is non-existent. The whole world is getting ready for war and revolution. And you have to know who you are. You have to know what path you're walking and where you fit in. Otherwise, you're going to be caught trying to be like someone else, trying to fit in expectations. You're in the wrong place, wrong time. You blasted. You're dead. You're not living what you're supposed to live. All right. But don't worry. There's no difficult way to do this. The only way to fuck up is against your own instinct to listen perpetually to what other people tell you to do. Even your own parents, even me. If I don't tell you guys what to do, but if my advice that I'm giving you, it runs contrary to your instinct, follow your instincts. Don't feel any kind of like loyalty to me to where you're going to go against what you want to do because I suggested it. That's not the name of the game. You're discovering things during this period that only you can discover. Breaking away from conditioning that has convinced you that if an authority figure, an expert didn't tell it to you, you shouldn't trust yourself unless you have authorized and proved yourself to a level and degree that enough people respect. That's an illusion. That's an illusion. Systems work, but efficacy is the greatest deceiver of all time. You've been convinced that just because certain things work, well, don't fix what's not broken. Yeah, what devil told you to adopt that system? This world is run by devils. That's not necessarily like figurative. There's a reason for that. And this is why you are a part of this revolution coming into this apocalypse so that we can create this new heaven and new earth. Okay. So please don't get caught up trying to argue philosophy with people who don't even know who you are or know who they are. And just be prepared to lead by example. You've already done the work. You made it past 2020, 2021, and 2022. Now it's time to move the path towards creation. And that's where these beings are going to do everything possible to stop you. They've tried to hit you with that psychic shit. It didn't work. You ended up exposing them. Now they're going to try at a much deeper level to confront you physically. And you are activating psychic power this season to remind them that they can't even see you in person. Let's get it. Truth is truth, so stand in yours. All right, cool. So relative to this activation of super psychic power, I'm not really pulling punches. This is super psychic power. As of current, we are at the crux of the full moon. By the time the moon opposes Capricorn or Cancer, you're using these psychic powers. Okay. Certain people are very frustrated because they're trying to expose you based on what people, are what they would think people would like turn up over. But you're so authentic. You're so authentic with it. It doesn't work. You're not trying to hide anything. People trying to expose you. You're so honest with yourself. You're like, yeah, I did that. What's up? And they don't get the reaction from you that they want, because just by you being authentic, you're exposing how fake they are. These are stupid, evil little bitches. So they deserve everything that's coming to them. And trust me, that's what the end of this Saturn cycle is doing for everybody. It's the crystallization of your beliefs and karma through your beliefs. So the first part of this Cancer transit, as you can see, coming into the second decan ruled by Pluto, was to wade the literal waters. The first 9 degrees are subruled by the moon. What happened during the first 9 degrees? Well, let's actually recap that. We know, we know that we had the new moon in Gemini. Okay, I want you to see this. We had the new moon in Gemini. That led to the moon in Virgo and Libra quarter square, which led to where we're at now, preparation for the full moon. Okay. So we had the activation and integration. Then this is the layers that I wanted to speak on. When it comes to the yearly season, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini, we activated our identity. This was the activation of the app. Now we're integrating this. This is getting ready to feel and use the app. So Cancer season is giving us a feel for how we use our powers. It's giving us a feel for how you use this application on your phone. The analogy for the app is mind you, a magic spell is a program. An app is a program. So now you're feeling this app. Cool. Now, relative to Cancer season, we activated and integrated. So relative to feeling the app, we activated what the application is, Gemini, new moon Gemini. And the square to Neptune was the final part of the introduction of this disillusionment. Once again, square Neptune. Then we activated the feel of these powers. Okay. Why this is important is you were still planting the seeds. They did not burrow through the ground. Then coming into last week, we integrated it. Why is this important? We are at the completion of this integration coming into the full moon. So now you see what it looks like. We know this is true because the moon in Scorpio period produced some of the strongest synchronicities and signs that strengthened your belief in who you are and what to feel about your powers. So now the moon in Sagittarius is concluding this integration by showing you how your powers work. But let's actually go into that. Seeing how your powers work. Cool. Well, power, psychic power is Cancer. Okay. Sagittarius is 6th house of Virgo to Cancer because Cancers live the most amazing life. If Leos live the most incredible life, Cancers are meant to live amazing lives that are adventurous. Their lifestyles are Cancer risings, Cancer suns. Their lifestyles are supposed to be amazing, inspiring, adventurous, where they have behaviors that facilitate joy and ascended lifestyles. Cool. Because it's the house of Virgo, we know that the moon is that Sagittarius is IC. It's vision. So we are moon in Sag. We're understanding the vision. Okay. We're understanding the perspective. We're understanding the effect of 6th house of Virgo to the sun. How, what, Cancer sun, your psychic powers work. It's just science. And that's why that's what you've been experiencing. We don't play over here. We don't do the speculation bullshit that these so-called astrologers do, making shit up. We actually know the science to this shit. And anyone who cannot tell you the relationship between the Earth's equator and the sun's ecliptic, they're not an astrologer. They're just making shit up. They're just making shit up. Boom. All right, cool. So with that being said, why are you activating and seeing how your powers work? Because you're getting ready for this final boss battle opposite Pluto. Up until 2022, your relationship with Pluto and Capricorn was overcoming these struggles. Now 2023 and 2024 is revisiting your relationship with them post breaking through. So you're not struggling with these lessons you did. You have overcome them. And so this is finishing the job. Okay. With evolved abilities to reflect that. And I really feel like the empowerment is going to feel like some of you are really ready to thrive much more than you've already been thriving. The disillusionment will kind of show you that the most important part of this disillusionment is the success and the victory that you've been going through over the past 15 years did not feel like success. So some of you could be confused, like, what do you mean? Like, and a huge reason of that is you've been conditioned to believe that if you're not, like, it's easy, like the same people who be like money isn't everything will still compare themselves to people with money, because it's not something you can just lie to yourself mentally. It's a conditioning that has at your core been influenced. So many of you really have been conditioned to believe if you're not seen with a certain person, if you're not successful at a certain age, if you don't have, or there's a reason you think that. That's not for no reason. Countries condition the populace so that they can conform to the country's goals. America is not dissimilar to other countries who reinforce these traditions, because that's going to motivate you to fill their country with GDP. A country's GDP is heavily influenced by the way that they condition the populace through social expectations to wake up in the morning. Like, really think this is what people are waking up to. Really think about the fact that the reason why you wake up in the morning and have been brainwashed to believe that if I don't get this job and if I don't take care of my family in a certain way and get this success, I'm not, that's a lie. That has always been an illusion. You're being disillusioned to realize that a lot of what you accomplished in the previous decade was actually a major victory. You probably just didn't know how to look at it. Cool. That's what the next 3 months are for. And then from October to December, you're presenting that to people. Decades worth of accomplishments. And that's what's going to reconstitute with the eclipse in Libra season in October, who you're moving forward with. Like, there's going to be a lot over the next 3 months that will divide the world again. And like the relationships and people who you've been moving forward with over the past 20 years is not going to be who you're moving forward with over the next 30 years. And a lot of people do not realize this shift is happening right now. Right now. I'm talking about with the moon in Sagittarius happening right now. By the time the moon starts to square Neptune, this disillusionment is going to now kick into full gear, because you'll be using new superpowers with the moon in Cap. So what we're going to talk about is the rest of this Cancer transit from full moon to new moon. The new moon in Gemini to the moon in Sagittarius was literal preparation chapter so that you can activate and integrate new superpowers. The next 2 weeks, starting from today, you are using those superpowers in the face of direct conflict pertaining to the 90-degree square to Chiron and the 180-degree opposition, which signifies outside influences, pressure with the squares. This is all mathematical. And the overcoming of this video game boss with the opposition with the sun and moon, after you beat that battle, is going to segue you into Leo, where you come into the victory arc. The victory arc is every Leo season is Sag season. Don't take my word for it. Because with the North Node going through Aries, that's an individual mission tour that's going to empower you in 1 year more than you've ever been empowered for 10 years. If you want an analogy like that, you can be in elementary school for 5 years, or you can be in elementary school, but then you finally go into grade school. And in 1 year of grade school, you've learned way more than you learned in elementary school, where they weren't really teaching you shit. Like they were, but like you weren't meant to learn as intensively. That's what we're headed into right now. So before we get into that, okay, let's talk about what Cancer is, because I channeled something very heavy and I'm going to make a post about it. I'm going to incorporate it in future books I write. And what it taught me about my understanding of the zodiac signs. My updated classification system for signs came through again, and I'm going to ask for some of your help because I want to edit this too. But basically, when I came for the stuff with the signs, air came first. I was able to come with air very quickly, then fire. But I was a little bit stumped on water. Scorpio came the first, Pisces came second, and I ended up getting everything. The one thing that I was confused about was what's Cancer? And I realized it's supposed to be like that because that's the same with society. Most people don't know what water is. So let me actually share what I came up with, where this isn't an official classification. For example, I'm going to say Aries is power, but all the cardinal signs are power. They're different aspects of power. But let me explain. So guess what I learned? In order to really understand Cancer, let's talk about the signs. You ready? Aries is power. Libra is balance. Capricorn is respect. Okay. This is where I learned what Cancer was. I had to really think about it. But before we do that, let's do the elements. The axis of fire, you have power, you have love with Leo, and then you have freedom with Sagittarius. The axis of earth, you have value with Taurus, you have reality with Virgo, and then you have respect with Capricorn. The axis of air, you have truth with Gemini, you have balance with Libra, and then you have knowledge with Aquarius. So with Scorpio, we know Scorpio is wisdom. If Virgo is reality, then Pisces is dreams. If Virgo is analysis and lifestyle with reality, then Pisces are beliefs, the beliefs that constitute the type of dreams you have. And then Cancer, I realized, is understanding. It took me a while to figure that out because I realized, okay, Capricorn is success, Capricorn is career. And I kept on saying Cancer's home, Cancer's home. And yeah, Cancer's home. But if you go to work to gain success and respect, then what do you go home for? You go home for comfort. So I wanted to give Cancer the word comfort, but I didn't realize that the true word is understanding, because when you are understood, you feel comfortable, right? Wherever you feel understood is wherever you feel at home. This is what I learned. Now, let me actually show you the nature for why you need everything. Okay, this is how it all came to me. Aries is power, Libra is balance, Capricorn is respect, right? And Cancer is understanding. In order to use power properly, power needs to be balanced, right? So if you had Aries and you had Capricorn, right? Yeah, you are very powerful. Yeah, you have respect, but people can't trust you because you don't understand them. You don't have Cancer. So if you don't have Cancer, yeah, people will respect the Capricorn. Yeah, people will see the power you can get stuff done with, but they'll fear you. If you don't have Libra, the power is not going to be balanced. So it's lawless. Without Libra, yeah, people could like you with Cancer. Yeah, you'll have respect with Cap. Yeah, you'll have power, but the authority is corrupt. The power is lawless. The Cancer is toxic. If you have Libra, right? Yeah, you're fair. Yeah, you have Cancer. Yeah, people like you. Yeah, you have Aries. You have the power to do things. But if you don't have Capricorn, people are not going to respect you. So if people don't respect you, yeah, people like you. Yeah, people are going to go to you. But like, you won't have authority to command other people. Okay, let's say you have Capricorn. Let's say you have Libra. Let's say you even have Cancer, right? So people feel you. You understand and appeal to people. They respect you. You have Capricorn and you're fair. You're actually fair. You're balanced with Libra, but you don't have Aries. So you don't have firepower. People can just kind of push you around. Yeah, you have respect, but without Aries, you don't have the youth or firepower to do anything. Yeah, you have respect and people like you, but someone with more firepower can dominate you, can literally burn you. All right. But let's say you do have the firepower and you do have the respect And you are fair. Thankfully, you have the Libra, so you're fair, but people don't feel like you understand them. Without Cancer, there's no Scorpio trust. And if you don't have people's trust, they won't believe in you. Pisces. Even though you're doing everything right, that's how important Cancer is. So this is why you need all the accesses. Now let's put this together. Cool. Gemini is truth. Sagittarius is freedom or meaning. You have truth and then you have meaning. That's the axis of the mutable. Truth, meaning. Well, what's in between truth and meaning? Reality and dreams. Virgo and Pisces. The axis of perception. Your lifestyle, Virgo, and your beliefs, Pisces. So relative to how you can discern truth and the meaning will influence your lifestyle and reality and the beliefs you have. That's the mutable axis. And then we have the axis of royalty. Taurus is value. Leo is courage or love. To me, all the fixed signs are axis of love or currency, but value is Taurus. Love is Leo. Wisdom is Scorpio. And knowledge is Aquarius. So if you have Taurus and if you have Leo, right? You have value, you have money. You're very passionate and courageous. You have love and passion in your life. And let's say you even have Scorpio, you have wisdom from experiences. If you don't have Aquarius, you're not going to know what to do with that. But let's say you have Aquarius, you have knowledge, and you have money, you have value, right? Let me not even say money, anything that's valuable. Money is valuable, but it could be anything. And you have wisdom. If you don't have Leo, you're not going to have the fire. You're not going to really love any of it. I'm breaking this down so you see how important every single sign is and how you have all of this within you. And you can see this. Take everything that I'm saying and look up and study charts of people who don't have these things. You will see that's their issues. People who have a lot of earth and fire, they're very masculine, they're very physical, but they lack empathy or intellect, right? Versus people who have a lot of air and earth, they could be very sloppy. They don't necessarily have the earth grounding. And this is where, based on what you don't have, you get to overcome and balance this. I thought wisdom is applied knowledge. Can you explain Aqua versus Scorpio? Wisdom is applied knowledge, but if you don't have knowledge, right, then your wisdom can only take you so far, right? And I love the reason why wisdom is applied knowledge. 10th house is applying yourself. Aquarius is knowledge. Scorpio is wisdom. Well, what is the 10th house of knowledge? Aquarius. Scorpio, applied wisdom. So, or okay, knowledge is applied wisdom. So if wisdom, Scorpio, is applied knowledge, the understanding of knowledge, I get that. But the reason why I want to say that like that is you can be wise, but that doesn't mean you're knowledgeable. Versus you could be knowledgeable and know a lot, but if you don't have wisdom, Scorpio, you're not going to apply that knowledge in a certain way. Okay. So now that you kind of get those points, Aries is power, Libra is balance. Okay. But in order to really cross that bridge into balancing your power, Cancer teaches you must understand that power. You must understand yourself, because respect without understanding is false authority. It's a bunch of fake people who respect you for the wrong reasons. Understanding without respect is not long lasting, because familiarity breeds contempt. So this Cancer season is activating a new sense of understanding of who you are relative. And yes, Farrah, I'm going to make a PDF. This is going to be a part of season 2 or 3 of World War Zero. So I definitely got y'all. the understanding of yourself post-evolution, the past 3 months that you've activated, is integrating this understanding in ways that by the time you get, and Nikki D, let's talk. I would definitely love to collab with you on that. In ways that once we get into Capricorn, you're reaching new levels of respect now that you've shifted to power balance and status quo. And this is where, in that understanding of yourself, the Pluto opposition is the boss battle. Pluto is exposing the corruptible nature of authority. Okay, so if Libra is justice, balance, right? Capricorn is authority. The law in and of itself is not enough to uphold itself. Without Capricorn, yeah, we can say this is the law, but who's going to enforce it? Capricorn is the authority to enforce Aries, the individual. So that's why Capricorn looks up to balance, Libra, okay? And relative to this justice, right? The reason why Libra has to be fairness is because Aries as an individual is selfish. So Aries enables Libra to cooperate, and Libra enables Aries to be fair. Libra represents all of us as a society who says, hey, we as individuals can't just do whatever we want. Because if we do whatever we want, we're going to clash. I have Cancer and you have Cancer. So the way I feel about what I want to do and how I Aries is going to be different from the way you Aries. Let us now make agreements. This is the axis of compromise, Libra. Libra exists so that individuals through agreements can come into a sense of balance, so that the individual feelings we have in Cancer now become shared feelings, social Scorpio water. Okay. No, we cooking. The shit I channeled last night was woo! It just clicked certain gears. Okay. So relative to that, okay, the sincerity of Cancer, if I am real about what I feel, this enables balance to occur. And this is where we, of course, balance this axis of individuality with the social. So that, of course, and yes, Sandy D, this is going to be available for God Squad members, okay, the replay. So the Capricorn is the integrity. The integrity completes this through respect. You as an individual bridge socially with others. And then, of course, the 10th house is your legacy, whereas the 4th house, Cancer, is where you're from, your comfort. Okay. So whereas the 10th house is this new level of respect, the comfort and understanding that comes from understanding who you are is being 100% challenged by what? Pluto and Capricorn. Old traditions, old control over what is respectful, as you are breaking through a new understanding. It is the perpetual societal expectation and peer pressure to conform with what is traditionally seen as success. That's why you have a lot of people who are miserable, because they're afraid to be who they truly are. And I don't mean in the identity politics way, where it's like, I identify as this. I'm not talking about that bullshit. I'm talking about they're afraid to be who they truly are. Fuck labels. They're afraid to share their real feelings about things. They're afraid to do what they really want to do because they are perpetually terrified of what other people think. Those people are not going to make it. I'm sorry to say that. Some of these people you may know. I'm not saying that these are bad people. Some of these people could mean very well and have accomplished a lot. They're going to die. They're going to die. They're going to make minute decisions based on that behavior that will get them killed. Just like the people who went out to protest 2020 because they were told, if you're not racist, you're going to do this. Some of these motherfuckers got popped because they shouldn't have been there. It's different if they wanted to be there. If they truly wanted to be there, they were meant to be there. That was their instinct. There were a lot of people who were only there because they were told, oh, you're this if you don't. And they got caught because they went against their instincts. So you were prepared for that. It was a beta test. Once North Node goes into Aries, it's not a beta test anymore. That shit is square Pluto. People will get clapped. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. South Node in Libra is you exodusing many relationships that cannot accept who you truly are. It is what it is. So that's why it's very important to pay attention to this Cancer season. And now that we've broken down the axis of power through raw power in Aries, balance in Libra, understanding in Cancer, and respect in Capricorn, let's get to it. Feeling is the secret. Cancer is the cardinal action of feeling. One of the most misunderstood things to this day, given the nature of water. So what this Cancer season is doing relative to 12 plus years of evolving is breaking you through into a quintessential new understanding of you and your power. That means the past 12 years, you've been coming into yearly understanding cycles of who you are, but this year is putting all of it together so you move forward in a new Aries direction, a North Node in Aries direction. Thank you. Pioneering a new channel timeline. That's literally it. Okay. Everything up until this point was just preparation. Like this harvest is about to snap. Moon on Pluto. Are you serious? Like this is it. This is everything you've been waiting for. Down to the nodes, next to the king of the gods. Okay. Chiron is like a push to start key button that once the node goes there, you're revving. Like a lot of you, the reason why a lot of you have been craving excitement is because your spirit's already in that part of the future, letting you know what's up. Your critical brain will not process that. It's not designed to, but it's starting to activate with Mercury, Mars, or Sun, this new psychic power. So a lever is literally switching as the moon leaves Sagittarius. And as we finish this, you are going to see at a heightened quality how your powers work. Once we harvest the superpowers over the next week, this is going to put you in a position to directly, in dealing with the collective, use these powers. All right. And that's what brings us to the full moon in Capricorn. When I do the full moon ceremony, we will, of course, talk about this again. But the full moon is a reawakening, okay? A reawakening of your power, and not just your power, but the legacy of your character. That relative to previous years is going to hit so much harder because of it being in this full moon cycle. Square the nodes. Okay. So its influence to where you direct your character and destiny is going to be experienced. And this is going to be, it's the difference between seeing how your powers work with the moon in Sag to using it. Now that you've seen how to ride the bicycle vehicle that's your body, it's time to now use it. That's what the next 2 days are. And the purpose of this harvest cycle and the utilization of your power, hilarious, is to, through Moon in Aquarius, transform your understanding of knowing what and how you feel now that you've used these superpowers. And of course, transcending the belief about what to feel, because now you have used these superpowers and know what they are. So that ninth house aspect is a life-changing understanding of what you believe you can do because you just did it for the first time. Mind you, this is harvest. So the last 2 weeks, you were planning the season, integrating it. Now you get to actually harvest what it is. That's an analogy for using your powers. Okay. If you're still wondering how they work, that's what you're seeing for the rest of Moon and Sag. This is actively occurring right now. And we all know this is true because the synchronicities that you've experienced with Neptune in Pisces are interweaving experiences beyond your brain's ability to process, and also including the small that your brain can process, which is what are synchronicities to you. But if you could see beyond, you would see they were all interrelated and connected. By the time the moon is in Pisces, you are understanding how all of that connects together, ninth house to the sun, to literally transcend your philosophy and the philosophical approach and direction of how you understand who you are and believe in who you are. Well, because you just used superpowers that 2 weeks ago you activated. And with the new moon in Gemini, it was really a magical ability you activated, and I'll explain why. Once we now step into, of course, the moon in Aries, I think this is the most important part of the cycle, because once we have that 10th house aspect, the 270-degree angle of the moon in Aries, bro, they were so powerful. And listen, the fact that they're so powerful is helping you understand you're fucking powerful. They're not just even happening to you, you're facilitating them, because you're so amazing. You are such an incredible being that you can only grasp a small percentage of how incredible you are. And you are now understanding how to grasp so much more. I mean, I speak for most of you because some of you know what's up. But by the time the moon is in Aries, you understand who you are. You understand how to feel about who you are. While the moon in Sag right now is showing you how they work, the moon in Aries is what you have achieved with what you've used your powers. So get this. We activated new magic. We integrated psychic power. We're harvesting psychic power. So this next week, from tomorrow to July 10th, after you've seen how your power works, you're using your power. By the time we get to July 10th, it's the high score. The 10th house cycle of a transit is what have we, Capricorn, accomplished. This is meant for review. Now that we've harvested the crops, we have to see, okay, are these crops worth it? Before we come into gross pay of the 11th house, and then net pay of the second house, do it all over again. So this 10th house understanding is everything you are able to break through and accomplish relative to the using of your superpowers. That's going to happen next week. Do you know what that sounds like? A fucking boss battle. That is a boss battle. And this is going to challenge how powerfully you are in a position to realistically break through outdated beliefs and understandings of who you are that were reinforced from a corrupt humanity and culture who is, if anything, as brainwashed as it is deceived. And that's all part of the process. So I can't even say that that's a bad thing. You're understanding where you fit in this and your role in this. Emphasis to the 11th house transit over the nodes that will very powerfully start to align a real sense of what individuals really belong with you. Because now you have seen everything you've achieved with this new utilization of your powers that is going to happen in less than 48 hours. And then you're going to see, based on what you achieved, and who do you rank with? Who has abilities and values these abilities? This is the 11th house rewards from career. And so the moon on North Node, Jupiter, and Uranus is going to help you feel the rich physical quality of the psychic nature of your power. How this utilization of this influences what you feel physically with your senses. So it's a strengthening. All right, this is going to be at post rank up. And then, of course, we're going to step into the balsamic phase. The balsamic phase is going to be a quintessential transcendence of what you think about what you feel. Because now that you are in the process of using new psychic powers, that once the moon is trine Uranus and Jupiter, you don't have to worry about how to do this because your subconscious logged and showed yourself how to use your abilities. You're just going to be using it. You're just going to be using it. Then the moon's going to go in Aquarius. You're going to be like, oh, that you're going to know, you're going to understand knowledge. Moon, oh, that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. Then after you understand the knowledge of what you were doing and how you were feeling when you did it, boom, moon goes into Pisces. And now you see clearly with your new psychic powers, all the synchronicities. You're going to tie together this. And the reason why the moon in Pisces is so important is the 9th house is the house of vision and sight. What is Pisces? Metaphysical. So if you put the sign of the metaphysical in the house of 9th house of sight and God, this is a divine ascension of being able to perceive the unseen through what? Your feelings. That's why anyone who says they've seen a ghost, I can never believe them. You can't see a ghost with your physical eyes. It's not a physical entity. Metaphysical entities are sensed through emotions. You can see an imagination of them and how they appear, but it's not something you really see unless you're Sagittarius. Sagittarius can just create the image, but no one physically sees a ghost. You have to trick yourself to see that. At the same time, the other side of this is it doesn't mean that ghosts don't exist because you can't physically sense them. They're not meant to be physically seen. They're metaphysical entities beyond the physical brain's ability to perceive, but you can still sense their existence. Of course, there's the other side of it of people who now pretend they do this and they're frauds, but anyone who can interact with spirits will give you facts. That's why Virgo is opposite Pisces. Virgo puts Pisces in check because all that unseen metaphysical shit exists. So Virgo is like, you should be able to draw receipts from that thing. You should be able to prove causality. And you can. You just need to understand with Cancer what you're looking for. And through Virgo, master how to do that. Something that if you're too blinded with pride and narcissism, your bias will just blind you, but not you. That's why you're going to activate this. And the moon in Gemini, 12th house, that's going to square Neptune is this realization of releasing old doubts around what you didn't think you can do before you activated this psychic power, because, well, now you've used the psychic power. And so the part of you who felt like, oh, I'm not able to do telepathy. Well, you did telepathy last week. So now when that doubt revisits, it's like, oh, no, I can believe this. You're shedding, releasing, transcending. All right. By the time the moon is in Gemini, the 12th house transit makes obsolete what 30 days prior you were struggling with. So that's the obsolescence. Cool. And this is the 2-week cycle to what, guys? The new moon in Cancer. This is going to be one of the most powerful new moons that we have all year. Okay. By the time the moon is getting ready to be new, this is the true activation of psychic power. So the new moon in Gemini activated magic that we used psychic power to develop. This harvest that we're harvesting is the magical ability we activated in Gemini. Once you use that power, you're going to develop the power. And then after you develop it, you activate it at this awakened level. All right. Because the opposition in T-square here is kicking off this new cycle of understanding and psychic development, trine Neptune, enabling you to align with this full, complete understanding of the metaphysical influences through synchronicities, dreams, and beliefs that guide your understanding. Beliefs are guided by understanding, or beliefs, 9th house, guide understanding. All right. Understanding, 9th house, guides Scorpio, wisdom. And wisdom, 9th house, guides what you believe in, Pisces. See this breakdown? This is all science. The reason why these zodiac signs are the way they are is because these are just archetypes that have always existed, whether you believe in them or not. And that's why it is impossible to denounce astrology as anything other than science. That's not the best logic and reasoning, but I don't want to use too many premises and explain too much. Yes, that's an excuse. But personally, okay, by the time we reach this point in Cancer, the depth of courage and understanding you have in yourself over just the next 2 weeks alone is going to inspire you as we move into Leo season to completely now express this towards the society around you. And because the North Node is in Aries now, you're going to know exactly what direction to move into. You're no longer going to feel stuck like, I need to do something. I need to do something. North Node and Taurus was like, chill, fucking chill. Now North Node and Aries is like, go. Okay. And that's what that square is going to align all the purpose of. That means a lot is going to happen over the next 2 weeks. Take everything that has happened over the past 3 months since April, dare I say since January, and in 2 weeks alone, more is going to happen eventfully than what we've experienced in the past 3 months. Mark my words. In fact, if it's mid, call me out for it. I will say I was wrong. Okay. The summer season session, the integration and breakthrough arc from now to the rest of the year, it's going to be perhaps some of the most eventful, impactful shit we've dealt with that'll make the last 3 years look like they were mid. And I don't mean in some weird conspiracy ways. It's very personal. So it doesn't have to be collective events that we can blame some hooded figures for causing. This is all based on breaking through the reinforcement and reclaiming of your personal power, autonomy, and individuality through, you guessed it, activation of supernatural powers. And it's as weird as that sounds, because everything about this is weird. We're ending the world. And a lot of people are completely blind to the fact that they're being pimped by evil space aliens, principalities and powers. But what else is new? I don't even think it's a bad thing at this point. But I think that's just me being cynical. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, now after the new moon, the moon that's going to go into Leo is ironically going to help you give a very interesting sneak peek of what to expect for this Leo season, with Mercury, Venus, that will be going retrograde and warming up now this newfound sense of value and how powerfully you feel who you are. Boom, that's what's going to lead us into the moon in Virgo. And by the time we step into Leo, all right, this special third house transit is important because this is going to be the second time that we're experiencing this. Let me make sure, because it might play that game. Yeah, so actually the sun is going to enter Leo right before. So it's not the second time. We're going to start the Leo transit off opening the door. This is very important. The Leo transit starts off with a 60-degree sextile. So it's going to be saucy off the rip. All right. People are going to be talking shit and in a good way. And the significance of this sextile is starting the Leo season off, speaking a social language, expressing the understanding of how to balance this courage of your heart with people without having to smack a bitch or with smacking 5 bitches or 2. All right. It's really up to you. And it's not a coincidence that this yacht is forming with Saturn lightly, because that's already going to let you know how dramatic as fuck this Leo season is going to be. And Leo is supposed to be dramatic, so I don't see it as a bad thing. But yeah, please understand, Cancer season is preparing you for Leo and Virgo. Libra season prepares you for Scorpio and Sag. Cap prepares you for Aqua and Pisces. And the inability for others to hide the insecurity within themselves and to just fling insults at you is a reflection of how miserable they are on the inside. This is where I'm saying you were able to before, but moving forward from now, do not give people the reaction they want. Do not let people get a rise out of you, because symbolically, someone who is miserable to the fact that they have to project their insecurity, they're not angry at you. They're angry at themselves. And they're mad that they cannot manipulate you to reinforce their outdated beliefs, with which you're not arguing with them. You're just living by example. So all of these insecure WLBs and SLBs who are realizing that this spiritual work takes more than just trying to fake the funk can be mad at you for doing the real work all day, but they're the ones who are still threatened. They're the ones who are still miserable. They're the ones who are still living this complete lie, trying to shame and guilt you because you're a perpetual reminder that they will never, ever, ever, ever have the happiness that they're pretending to have living this fake ass lie. Yeah, you can see people living a lie and enjoying themselves, but you are merely just dreaming of eating all these foods. And then you wake up out of this dream still hungry. That's a whole generation of motherfuckers like that. Dreaming this impossible dream, getting off on these highs based off of things that are not real. And a hardcore disillusionment is about to hit them, and they're going to realize they are still hungry. None of that shit was ever fulfilling. And so, yes, they are jealous of you that you don't need to spend as much money, live this fake ass lifestyle, express all of this, do this job, work this, just to get this sense of peace and authentic happiness that they wish they had. And that's just facts. So add that on to the point that over the next 2 years, you are harvesting and completing a psychic activation process. You're getting ready to step into Leo season to strengthen the power you just activated. So Leo and Virgo season is taking this new psychic and magic power, and through your social dealings with others, mastering it, perfecting it. Because once we get to Libra and once we get to Scorpio, it's war, baby. And it's all this. So pre-war is Cancer to Libra. War is the entire North Node Aries transit for the next 2 years. New World Order is 2025 moving forward. Who won the war? That's who's going to decide the New World Order over the next decade from 2025. Well, that means it's all happening the next 2 years. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this report. Normally, I would open up for live readings. I don't believe any of you are interested in that, so I will take my leave. Once again, you are more than welcome to order the did I send that? Yeah, you're more than welcome to order the Mercury and Venus snapshot reports, or you can get a transit forecast report if you want to look into the next 3 months or 6 months, whether you get the 15 or 30 minute. And as always, this will be available for God Squad members, the replay. Okay, I'll keep you guys posted with my paper call. We're going to get to work on that this month. So shout out to Farah. I know he's in the building. But you guys are amazing. The most important thing is you don't have to know how to use these psychic powers. Like, that was what you did the past 2 weeks. You're going to master these psychic abilities by September. So give yourself some time. You have overcome programming and conditioning that most of the world population is either hidden in the closet, afraid to embrace, or just completely inundated and indoctrinated. So give yourself credit that you are able to be used to enlighten and awaken many, not by shoving your beliefs down their throat, just by leading by example. And overcoming this disillusionment over the next 2 years, you're going to use abilities that you felt were only science fiction, fantasy. And that's what you're going to master over the next 2 weeks, so you can step into this next world conflict and we can break through as the Infinity Gang and crew that we are. Feel the end, think as if you already have everything you want, and feel the grooviness. Y'all stay blessed as always, and until next time.